Well, good evening everyone and welcome to the pre-season race here for the PS4 division tiers 1, 2 and 3 at the beautiful Abu Dhabi circuit. My name is Alex Lilliard. Some of you may know me, some of you may not. I raced in ILR 3 for 2 seasons, first for Haas and then for Williams, but I've decided with the league's blessing to hang up my gloves and pick up the microphone instead. Not only am I doing tonight's race, but I will be the full-time solo commentator for ILR 3 on PS4 this season. We're currently about 5-6 minutes into the short qualifying session here. A full 18-minute session followed by a 50% race distance around this circuit. You can see some of the drivers have already put some lap times in. TUF Eric was on provisional pole. He's just been eclipsed by Kalek Rist with a 1:34.000. You can't be more precise if you tried. Yeah, so apologies if I butcher some of these people's names. Like I said, we've got various drivers from tiers 1, 2 and 3 here tonight. I do have a list here that has been provided for me. So like I said, sorry for getting any of these names wrong. So representing ILR 1, the top tier on the PS4 side is Ashbest 122, LMC Hamilton, Kalek Rist, CC Brain, Matt 32575 and TUF Eric. Representing ILR 2, we have Scuba MUFC, Forestix, I think it is, 13, Corsa F1, who I don't believe is here tonight, ILR Shadow, Thick Rouge, Maledictus, TR Button, LMC George, and in ILR 3 we have LMC Josh, so another LMC guy there, Paul McGuinness, Tough to Handle, Voids Cod, Lightning Gasly, brilliant name, and TNB Wazzy. We do have Bugesta, I believe, is a reserve, possibly a few others as well, maybe on here. But yeah, we're just trying to see here, we've got 11.5 minutes left of the session. We'll move around to someone else, see what's going on. Forestix is just coming over the line and it can only manage a 1:36.810 to put himself in 12th place. His teammate for tonight coming into the pits, LMC Josh, is on a slow one. TR Button on an outlet, and Lightning Gasly looks like he's in sector 2. So this is the first time I've actually done spectator mode on F1 2018. I do have plenty of experience with commentary from F1 2015, 16 and of course 17 as well. So I am not new to this, but I'm certainly new to this game. So we'll keep it as fastest lap, broadcast, detail, fitted, the tyres fitted, how many laps got on there, their best as well. And I think we'll go for the best one because then we definitely know what's going on. Telemetry, of course, enabled or disabled, and the lap data we can have. We'll have the lap data up, I think, as Lightning Gasly moves into 7th place then. So we'll close that little screen down then. So quite a few of the big guys in it have already set initial laps here are in the pits. We might have a little bit of a break. We've only got a few drivers out there. So it gives me an opportunity then to talk about the track characteristics for Abu Dhabi. Now, medium downforce is usually sort of required, although some drivers may have a low downforce or decide to have a high downforce depending on how they personally drive the car. But obviously the lower wings you have here, the quicker you're going to be on the straights. And that brings into where we're looking at now with Lightning Gasly, as you can see here, just getting past one of the Renault guys, CC Brain I believe it was. This is one of the 2 main overtaking opportunities on the circuit because of course both the back straights with a little left-right chicane in between both have DRS, and of course if you pick up DRS you're going to be quicker in a straight line. If you're following the guy quickly you can bump up the ERS and hopefully put a nice move on going into either the inside or the outside of either corner. So don't be surprised if a lot of the overtakes we see here tonight in the race will be done in them 2 particular points of the circuit. There are other places as well. Look out for the final lap of the race. I've done it before in ILR and I've seen other people do it in other races as well, where it's possible to overtake into the final corner, but you're going to have a lot of guts and bravery to do it and better tyres to do so as well to get a nice exit out of the previous corner. Turn 1 here, but with it being such a short run from the start line to the first corner, don't be surprised if anyone from about 6th down to 16th end up having a bit of damage and tripping over other people. It's not a long run to the first corner, so don't be surprised if we see a lot of people starting to bunch up as we go into turn 1. And I said don't be surprised if we see a few people making contacts and having to make early into the pit lane. Notes on some of the drivers. Like I said, some of these guys I'm not too familiar with. I know some of them out there are obviously going to be sweating time trial already, and I think there was one guy out there I think he's already level 42 or something like in multiplayer, which is crazy in my eyes, but there we go. So some people coming in tonight, they have been away practicing for Abu Dhabi. Of course all these drivers will come here for the season finale for the upcoming season, which is due to start for ILR 3 anyway in 2 weeks time. But so we won't be back here for the best part of 5 months, so it's early practice for these guys. guys to get their racecraft sorted out, to sort of battle with the guys that they might be fighting within their respective tier, and also get some early setup knowledge for when they do come back here for the season finale, which of course they could very well be in a championship fight. You don't know. So we're just looking at MC Hamilton here in black, red and silver Haas car. So the two quickest guys, Calic Rist and TUF Eric, are now currently on outlaps. I believe Calic Rist is, he's halfway around the circuit at the moment. So 8 minutes left of the session, just over halfway to go, or just under halfway to go. And there's a smattering of drivers out there. 142.6 is the slowest so far by TMB Wazzy, the best part of 8.5 seconds off the pace. 3 drivers, LMC George, Wizard I think it is, have yet to set lap times, and I believe Tough to Handle was already retired from the session, so not too sure what's happened there. Other drivers to possibly keep an eye out on as they do complete their next laps. Well, the McLaren boys look quick. ILR Shadow, who's now just coming around to complete another fast lap. Does he improve? He does, to take provisional pole by the slimmest of margins, 700ths of a second over Calic Rist. So the McLaren currently on provisional pole with a 34.024. Will we see anyone dip into the 1 minute 33s as CC Brain moves up into second place? My betting is we will, of course, as the track continues to develop and evolve and more drivers are going out there and doing more laps. Therefore more grip gets put down, and there's more rubber gets put down, and then therefore there's more grip that is available. So don't be surprised if his lap times continue to tumble. Ash Best coming around the corner now, he fails to improve, 33.6, but he must have had an invalidation. So other drivers in coming, LMC Hamilton, I believe he's now starting a flying lap. So we'll take a ride on board of LMC Hamilton then in this Haas car. There you go, for turn 1 there. Now through the left-hander at 2. This is pretty much flat. Straighten the car up nicely for a nice line through 3. You don't want to run too wide there. The curves are very bouncy. It will spit you out to the outside and your race will be over in the wall. Turn 4 and 5 then. The left and the right-hander there taking in 4th or 3rd gear. Over to the right-hand side, then tucking nice and late to straighten the car up on exit by Hamilton there. Up through the gears now. This is the first of 2 main back straights. The DRS line is right there. Finger on the button. The rear wing opens up and you can see there his speed is continuing to rise and rise and rise down into the braking zone. 200, 150, 150. He's braking very late, a couple of yards away from the apex, but a nice entry anyway. Again coming out of the chicane there, back end steps out a little bit with the oversteer, and the second line of DRS is here now, curving back straight here as we've got yellow flags up ahead, so whoever's had an incident, hopefully they keeps off the racing line. Over to the right hand side, take a little bit of that curve, there's no harm in that, and then we've got a 3-prong corner, left, right, and then left again. Oh, LMC Hamilton's made a mistake there, over the curbs as well, and unfortunately that lap may very well be ruined now. We'll stay on board with him though, as we now have 3 right-handers, first 2 taken pretty flat, and then heavy on the brakes for the 3rd one here. Over to the right hand side, double left-hander, underneath the bridge linking the hotel. Again, you want to keep this curve on the right hand side, plenty of respect because it will spit you out into the wall. And then the final 2 corners here, really throw that car into the first right hander. Again, Hamilton's made a mistake and he will be in the pits, but the final corner is there, so that's pretty much a lap of Abu Dhabi. And it's a shame for Hamilton there because he's down in 7th place and I've got a sneaky suspicion he can improve. Other drivers coming into the pits now with just 5 minutes left. So most of the top leaders then, or most of the front runners I should say, now in the pits now to change over to their 3rd set of Hypersoft tyres if they've got any left. Maybe make a little bit of a change to the setup if it is available, and then go out for 1 flying lap towards the end. So the guys further down, the likes of Wizerlig and Forestick, so actually both the Ferraris down in 17th and 18th, they might take advantage of the relatively empty track at the moment. Most of the slower guys so far in the session are now currently out there. Paul McGuinness down in 14th place in the 2nd Haas. Lightning Gasly, TMB Wazzy, both the Force Indias currently occupying row 6. Or should I call them Racing Point Force 1 Racing Team Sahara, whatever they're called now. But they're both 11th and 12th at the moment. Vic Rouge then completes the top 10 for now. Everyone else, apart from TUF Eric inside the top 10, are currently in the pit lane. So I'm going to take a quick 30-second break here. I see that we've got quite a lot of people watching at the moment. Any questions, anything you want to know, do put your comments in. Any ideas, anything like that, do let me know. I am experiencing commentary, but it's the first time I'm doing ILR, so any advice or opinions or any good luck messages are more than welcome. But I'm going to take a quick 30-second break here. So just under 3 minutes left of the session. I'm expecting most of his guys in the pit lane will be out within the next 20 or 30 seconds for one last do-or-die attempt to get themselves a respectable grid positions. We'll stay with Forrest for now. He seems to be the only one possibly on a flying lap at the moment in this Ferrari. 14th place for now. Whether he'll be happy or not with that, I remain to be told. But he's coming around the final couple of corners now then. Will he peel into the pits or is he planning on carrying on? He's going to carry on then. So 35.627 is his personal best. Is he going to be able to beat that or not? He does indeed, a 34.992. So he improves by 6 or 7 tenths to get himself up agonisingly just outside the top 10. But I think he'll be happy with that run in 11th, and I believe that's his qualifying now almost certainly over. Of course, with the ERS that's now on these cars, it's difficult. Oh, we've got Sauber and Toro Rosso. They're getting very personal on pit lane exit. Hopefully no damage was caused to the Toro Rosso following. But of course, with ERS now on these cars this season, it does change the dynamic somewhat in qualifying. It's difficult now to go out there with, let's say, 5 minutes left and bang in 2 quick laps on a set of Hypersoft or Supersoft or whatever the quickest tyre compounds available for that particular race. Because obviously you've got to recharge your ERS at some point as well. So it's going to be a bit of a mind game for these guys to really work out when is the best time to go out there and push, and when is the best time to try and find some track space. You know, it's all well and good going out there, finding a bit of space and hammering around for 2 or 3 laps, or hoping to do what you can. If that's the way you want to go about it, you're going to find yourself not really doing anything productive on this 2nd or 3rd lap, because even if, let's say, your first lap is slow, then on the 2nd lap you've got to sort of recharge the battery to then go for a second flying lap on your 3rd lap. Well, your tyre wear's probably at 15-20% already, and so you're going to be losing time rather than gaining. But anyway, there's a minute left of the session. ILR Shadow currently weaving left to right to warm up the tyres. We've got a Haas in the background as well, and these guys just trying to get a last little bit of extra temperature in the tyres and the brakes before they go over the start finish line. Then everyone crossing a line now. This is their last do-or-die attempt. ILR Shadow across the line. Kai Brain has already started his lap. TUF Eric, a couple of corners to go. Calic Risk, he is already on his flying lap as well. TR Button, he's coming round to start his flying lap in a few seconds. So there's some quick guys out there. And it should be quite interesting to see who will take provisional pole, or who will take pole position, I should say, for this pre-season race here tonight for the top 3 tiers in PS4. Yeah, that's right. I lost my train of thought there. Do apologise. So ILR Shadow then. Who's going to be the first one across the line of the big guys? Calic Risk is coming up to the end of the 2nd DRS straight. TUF Eric is at the first. Brain is behind. Shadow is there. So I think Calic Risk might be the first. Yeah, so we'll stay with Calic Risk then. We'll cycle through the top 4 and see if any of these guys can take pole position. It's Calic Risk at the moment. It'd be nice if we got delta times for sector 1 and 2 to tell if they were up or down, rather than just the generic lap time. Maybe we're getting that and I'm missing it, I'm not too sure. But anyway, Calic Risk then, as Vic Rouge retires from the session down in 12th place. 2 corners to go now. Number 29 for this beautiful Alfa Romeo Sauber. Final corner then. Plenty of curb on entry. A little bit of oversteer. Can he improve? He can. He takes provisional pole and he dips into the 33. CC Brain, next one across the line, currently down in 3rd place. Can he get himself back onto the front row? He can in 2nd place. ILR Shadow and a McLaren at the final corner, and he takes provisional pole. Now it's up to TUF Eric to see if he can move himself up onto the front row of grid. So a brilliant couple of laps there by both Calic Risk and ILR Shadow. 2 drivers in the 1 minute 33s, and LMC Hamilton has taken pole position with a 33.7. Eric, he can only manage 3rd. Where's TR Button? Oh, we've got a Sauber in the wall in the background there. TR Button, he's in sector 3 at the moment. Yellow flags ahead, but he won't have to slow down. Don't worry about that. Running a little wide over the curve there. Oh, the Sauber's in the way. I'm glad ghosting's off. 2 corners to go then. Very fast right-hander. Oh, he's made a mistake. He might have lost time. Yeah, he's lost a huge amount of time. He's off into the wall. And TR Button's qualifying session is over. And I don't think we have anyone else. Renault has also put it in the wall. And I think that is the qualifying session over then. And it's LMC Hamilton for the Haas team that does take pole position here. Ash Besten in the McLaren. He can only manage 6th place. Well, that was a dramatic end to the qualifying session there. And for some unknown reason, I gained 500 experience for commentating. Okay, that's fine. But there we go. LMC Hamilton there with pole position by just under a tenth of a second from ILR Shadow's McLaren. Row 2 sees two Finnish drivers, TUF Eric and Kalek Resk for Red Bull and Sauber. CC Brain in 5th place with Ash Best in the second. McLaren winds up in 6th place. TR Button in 7th through Crash coming out in the final couple of corners. He's joined on row 4 by his teammate for tonight, Matt. And LMC George and Wizerlig round off the top 10. So, and just waiting for these drivers to ready up after they've made any alterations to their setup. A few comments I've noticed. One up here, I think, from EFC Matthew, commentator was a real geezer. I assume he's probably talking about my East London accent. Yeah, it's a bit cockney. I do apologise if some people struggle to understand me, but this is the way I speak, so hopefully you can all get used to it. Season 4 is here. Let's go, says Jack Gooding. It is in Israel. Favourite track of the season ahead. Racing wise, if it was me racing, it would be Spain. I seem to be very, very strong already around Spain. Commentary wise, for action and stuff to talk about, I always like Brazil. There's always a lot going on Brazil. It's such a short lap, like Austria as well, where you find a lot of people always quite close together. There's varying strategies as well, and with the weather that can also play into it. Do keep an eye out for Brazil towards the end of the season. It's usually a very, very good race. And ILR Shadow came on stream just now to say that he messed up, I should say. He didn't use those words, but he messed up Sector 1. He lost 2 temps in that, so ILR Shadow could have had a pole position here tonight. But, you know, this is why these drivers do pre-season races. They can dust off the cobwebs, get themselves back in the right frame of mind for this very gruelling season ahead. Of course, everyone here tonight competing in the top 3 tiers, as we've got a cascade of beautiful colours there coming down that back straight, led by the Haas car of LMC Hamilton. All these drivers are going to set themselves personal targets. They might want to beat their teammate, they might want to stave off relegation, they might think they have a legitimate chance of securing a couple of podiums or a race win, they might be going for the championship, they might be looking, well, I'm not strong enough for the drivers, but I've got a good teammate, so let's knuckle down to go for the constructors. So every driver here tonight is, you know, they want the experience of multiplayer on this game to make sure everything works fine for them and they are feeling comfortable, and they have all got themselves personal goals for the season as it goes ahead. So then we'll bring up the tyres. There we go then. So the top 10, starting on the tyres, they set their best lap times on. Everyone on the Hypersofts, apart from Matt, back in 8th place, is on the Ultrasofts. And then further down, we've got Scuba and Maledictus, 11th and 12th. They're on the Super Soft tyres, as is Thick Rouge, TMB Wazzy, Lightning Gasly, looks like Tough to Handle, and LMC Boogstar, who is the reserve and has managed to get in. They're all starting on the Ultrasoft tyres. Paul McGuinness down in 18th is going for a bold and brave strategy by starting on the Hypersoft tyres, and then 2 drivers starting on the hardest of the 3 compounds available to the drivers tonight, the Redwall Supersoft tyres. That's Forest Sticks in 13th and LMC Josh in 17th. So LMC Hamilton, there's a few of them in here tonight, leads the field round. Everyone taking their nice time. Everyone's bunched up quite nicely. LMC Boogster, yeah, everyone is together, which is quite nice. We don't want any stragglers at the back delaying the start of this race. So the drivers coming around now to take up their positions on the grid. And LMC Boogster has been disqualified from the session, as has Tough to Handle, so those two have been a bit naughty at the back of the field. Not that it matters too much. So LMC Hamilton and ILR Shadow on the front row, TUF Eric and Kalek on row 2, CC Brain, Ash Best row 3, TR Button and Matt row 4, LMC George and Wizerlig on row 5. 5 lights coming on now for the pre-season race here for the top 3 tiers in PS4, and away we go now. Drivers lighting up the rear tyres, trying to struggle for grip. Good start by ILR Shadow. He's up the inside of Hamilton going into turn 1. Watch for contact behind. He's going to squeeze him out. Oh, and Hamilton has to take avoiding action. We've got Toro Rosso up into third place, Renner up into fourth as well. Oh, and the two leaders have made contact. Oh, and the spinning round. Oh, and oh my God, there is an almighty pile-up. Half the field is going to be involved in that straight away. There's debris and cars and bodies and all so much going on the exit of turn 3. About 5 drivers are already out the race. We have a virtual safety car. What happened on the exit of turn 3 after those two made contact? Reminds me of Grosjean spinning at turn 3 in Spain, where he's just ended up in the middle of the road and everyone's flown around the corner and they've all just piled into the side of him, and that is not really what we want to see. Excuse me there. We got cars struggling back with no front wing, and I think we've lost 6 drivers in the space of 20 seconds. It's disappointing as we go green flag racing again. Ashbest from 6th on the grid leads. LMC George is up into 2nd place. How has this happened? But yeah, disappointing there. Not what we wanted to see. Position change. Excuse me again, I have a tickle in my throat. So Ashbest then leads this race. He's up 5 positions. LMC George in 2nd place is up 7. Tough to handle has risen from 19th to 4th. How has he managed that? LMC Josh is up to 5th. In all that chaos, TR Buttons only made 1 position. Lightning Gasly and Boogster then from the back of the field are inside the top 10. Paul McGuinness, he's now smiling on them Hypersoft tyres. He could be a threat now. He's in 9th. Forestix has no front wing. He'll be in the pits. He's currently in 10th place. Then we have Wazzy in 11th. Oh, Forestix is getting in the way of people there. More debris further back as well. CC Brain, he obviously got caught up and he's coming into the pits, fishtailing wildly as he comes to the pit lane line. Forestix is in, as is ILR Shadow, our pole man, Scuba MUFC as well. So we've lost TUF Eric, Wizerly, Calic, Matt, Maledictus, and our pole man LMC Hamilton. Wow, drama here in the opening lap, and if this carries on as we go through the season, well, it could be anyone's game who's going to win the title. But a couple of quick guys here tonight already out of this race, order in the pit lane having damage fixed to their car. But Ashbest won't complain. He now leads by 1.5 seconds over LMC George. Vic Rouge up into 3rd place. Tough to handle, running in 4th. TR Button in 5th, defending from LMC Josh. Then we have Lightning Gasly in 7th place. Boogster are reserved tonight in 8th. Paul McGuinness in 9th. Wazzy in 10th. We'll have a look, see what these guys are doing. ILR Shadow back out in the pits on the set of Ultra Softs. Scuba MUFC, CC Brain on the Super Softs, and Forestix in 14th on the Hyper Softs. As Wizerlig has left the session, he doesn't fancy sitting around for another 26 laps watching these guys pound round. So yeah, a few comments just looking here. Really? WTF, bottle job, how dumb, nice job, lol, what the hell, rip, restart please. That was a fun race from Calic. Yeah, apologies there to the drivers that have been, well, I shouldn't be apologising. I'm just sitting here watching this as DRS is now being enabled going into lap 3 and the fastest lap continues to tumble. Vic Rouge with a 39.356. I do feel sorry for everyone that has been affected. Obviously people came in tonight for, you know, it's a pre-season race, but it's also a social race. It's not exactly, these drivers aren't exactly going to be sweating it 100%. It's just good practice, fighting and dicing with the drivers around you, and also maybe some early setup work for the season finale in a few months' time. But yeah, it's disappointing that some of these guys have dedicated a couple of hours of their evening tonight for it to all end within 10 seconds, and most of those people have retired through no fault of their own. It was contact between LMC Hamilton and ILR Shadow, I believe it was, going into turn 3. And I can't remember for the life of me who caused that. But yeah, unfortunately, it was LMC Hamilton, I believe it was, who ended up spinning around, laying in the middle of a circuit. And when you've got 17, 18 other drivers coming through the blind turn 3 at full chat, it's, yeah, trying to avoid that is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's going to be very, very difficult. And unfortunately, yeah, it has ruined a lot of people's races. But yeah, drama here then on the opening seconds of this race, not opening laps. But like I said, Ashbest now leads. 1.8 seconds ahead of LMC George. Vic Rouge trying to hunt him down, 8 tenths away. They've dropped Tough to Handle in 4th place. TR Button in 5th, trying his best to stay on the circuit. It is guarded by those white lines. LMC Josh in the leading Red Bull in 6th place. Gasly in 7th. Lightning Gasly, I should say. If I say Gasly too much, I think it's actually V Gasly. Boogster in 8th. Paul McGuinness in 9th. TMB Wazzy in 10th. So what other things can we bring up then as this is going on? Gap to leader, fastest lap, which is currently being held by Thick Rouge. Interval? No, I think we'll have interval. That will tell us a bit more about the gaps between people. TR Button into the pits. Has he picked up damage, or is he... it's difficult to see the front wing with the halo, isn't it? I've just noticed that. This is the first race I've done in this game. No front wing change, and he's going on to the ultra soft tyres. But before, when I used to do commentary on 16, 17, well, and 15 as well, you could easily see if there was any end plate damage on the front wing. Now with the halo, with the camera angle that we have, if I go to another drive and bring it up there, look, you can see the front left, that's fine, you can just see that, but I can't tell you for hide nor hair if there's any damage on the front right. So a bit of a disadvantage having the halo there, but anyway, it doesn't really matter too much. TR Button rejoins in 10th place. Oh, LMC George is taking the lead from Ashbest. What's happened there? Oh, Ashbest is going slowly, and Thick Rouge is going to try and move around the outside, so I can only assume that Ashbest has made a mistake because he had a 2-second lead. Is he back up to speed, the McLaren driver? I think he is. I think he may have made a mistake. And it's now a battle for the lead between Thick Rouge and LMC George. Thick Rouge with the DRS. Dancing and weaving, or he's going to go around the outside here. Lock up there from the Sauber driver, forces Thick Rouge wide, and Ashbest is right up with him now, and that's brought Tough to Handle into it, so we could have a nice four-way scrap here for the lead. Oh, the back end there on the Toro Rosso, just stepping out a little bit. LMC Boogster picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, so that's he's been extending the track limit once too many times. We've got the Sauber there, LMC George, the back end of that stepping out as well. We're now into lap 4. Hypersoft tyres might be starting to give up the ghost a little bit. As our leading quartet thunder through the final 2 corners there. I love how the front wing bounces violently like that when you see these cars go over the curb. It's really nice to see. And the Toro Rosso again dancing and jinking around. Oh, and I think Thick Rouge might have a run going on to the outside of turn 1. This is not a place you would overtake usually. I think Thick Rouge's ultra soft tyres are now probably a bit better than the Hypersofts. They do wear out very quickly around here. I think Thick Rouge might be thinking about a move up the inside into the chicane here, left and right. Thinks better of it. LMC Hamilton has left the session as well, another one of our early retirements. And we could be in for a bit of a 2 or 3 wide bit of action here. We'll jump on board with Ashbest. CC Brain has retired from the session down in 14th place. We've got a good view of the leading pair, but here we go. We'll jump on board with Thick Rouge. DRS is open. Does LMC George defend? No, he sticks to the racing line. Thinks better of it. And we'll jump on board then with the Sauber driver. Oh, lock up there from Thick Rouge. And LMC George has done well to avoid it. There's a bit of oversteer from both drivers coming out of the chicane. And DRS now will be with LMC George, but I think Thick Rouge is too far ahead. Meanwhile, LMC Josh is up to 3rd. Ashbest is losing positions. Again, he's falling down. He was leading. He's now down to 7th place. I've got a sneaky suspicion his tyres are absolutely dead as the Force India of Gasly tries to go around the outside into the 3-pronged left chicane here at the end of the 2nd DRS straight. And Ashbest there just trying to squeeze him out. Lightning Gasly won't thank him for that. Yeah, Ashbest is now got front wing damage, and I'm pretty sure those tyres he's running are now absolutely shot. And I believe Ashbest will probably be in the pits at the end of his lap to get off of those tyres. As for our lead, is any of them going to be pitting? I don't think Thick Rouge will be in the pits anytime soon. LMC George might be thinking about it. Indeed he is. Just moving over to the right hand side. And 2nd place when I go to LMC Josh. Tough to handle. Around the final corner as well. He's on the ultra softs, as is Boogster. Gasly coming in off of those ultra soft tyres. Paul McGuinness now up to 7th place. Ashbest in 8th. He's coming into the pits as well. So Paul McGuinness then, he's still running them hyper soft tyres that he's had from the start of the race. He qualified well down the order. So then the first round of pit stops are starting to begin here. And obviously those with the ultra soft tyres can take these a couple of laps longer than those on the hyper softs, I should say. Someone else left the session. I believe it might have been Calic Rist. Forestix has also retired from the race. So we've now lost 8 of the 20 drivers that took the start. And we're only 6 laps into this social race. So yeah, answers in the postcard then. Spice up a little bit of drama here early on. Who do you think was at fault for the chaos we saw at turn 3? If my memory serves me correct, it was between LMC Hamilton and ILR Shadow. LMC George has crashed in the pit lane. How do you manage that? Well, that's embarrassing. Hopefully he meant it on purpose because he'd had enough of racing. And Ashbest as well, I believe, has retired. So LMC George has crashed in the pit lane exit and has been disqualified, and Ashbest has now left the session. So we're hemorrhaging people here early on. They're dropping like flies at the moment, and we only have 10 drivers left, which is a bit disappointing. Could make the second half of this race a little boring. What we need now is a safety car to bunch this field back up. Yellow flags in sector 1, but no one's in it, so I think that is just to recover Ashbest's car away from the edge of the circuit. So Thick Rouge carries on then, going into lap 7. Postcard, who was at fault for the first lap chaos that we saw? It was between ILR Shadow and LMC Hamilton. Meanwhile, the other LMC driver, Josh, continues on in second place. He's now 6.4 seconds away from Thick Rouge. He is on the super soft tyres. So we'll bring up the stops then to see who's done what. The top 5 yet to make a pit stop. TMB Wazzy in 7th also hasn't stopped. Tyre life there, as we can see. This is quite a nice graphic. Rather than guessing how long these people have been on the tyres, we can now actually see, as LMC Joff is taking a very different line there out of the hairpin. So 6 laps completed then for our top 4. Sorry, 6 of the top 7 I should say. TR Button has now moved up into 5th place past Paul McGuinness. TR Button, of course, the highest driver that has made a pit stop. 3 laps completed on the ultra soft tyres. So the super soft tyres can go quite far here, as can the ultra softs as well, so it might be a while until we see another collection of drivers in the pits. Paul McGuinness might be thinking about it in the next couple of laps. He's now lost 5th place to TR Button, and TMB Wazzy is closing 2.1 seconds at the moment. I'll be expecting that gap to be around about a second and a half by the end of this lap. I'm going to take another quick break here to take a quick drink, but stay tuned for more action here with the pre-season race at Abu Dhabi. So Paul McGuinness rejoins in 10th place after making his first stop. Going on to the super soft tyres, he might be looking to take them to the end. 20 odd laps should be okay. And what we'll do at this point then, we'll bring up the telemetry then. It doesn't actually show us, unless there's another way I can do it, how much fuel these guys have got left, because in the previous games it showed us how much fuel they had. Now we just can see what they're doing with the ERS. Thick Rouge, you can see he's currently in the medium mode with 76% worth of battery usage. LMC Josh is currently recovering. He's up to 29%. Tough to handle. He's in the 62s, also running medium. LMC Boogster, he has 56. He's also running medium ERS at the moment. TR Button, he's in low, so he's definitely recovering some energy. TMB Wazzy in 6th place. He's also low, so he's recovering. ILR Shadow has turned his off completely. Scuba MUFC, he's in medium. Lightning Gasly has turned his off completely, and Paul McGuinness is in medium as well. So some of these drivers might just have the ERS on the automatic setting, which means the game does it for them, but I think most of these drivers will have it on manual setting. I will personally run and have been running manual setting. I prefer to have more control. I know when I want to use it and I want full control of what I'm doing, and I think most of these drivers, when it comes to the real deal in a couple of weeks' time, as TR Button there bounces viciously across the curbs on the exit of turn 3, I think most of these drivers would rather have the ERS in their own manual control and not rely on the game for it then. So looking back then, LMC Boogster at his tyres, a bit of wear there on the inside. You can see some graining starting to appear on that rear right tyre. Tough to handle, still running in 3rd place at the moment on the same set of tyres, the Ultra Softs. LMC Josh just ahead on the Supers. 8.3 seconds in the lead over Toro Rosso or Thick Rouge. What a name, Thick Rouge, honestly. And I believe there's someone in ILR 3 with the name Spaghetti and Chips or Spaghetti Chips or something like that. That's possibly the greatest PSN name I've ever seen. There's still 10 drivers running here then. Only 9 laps, not even 9 laps completed actually, and we've lost over half the field now. Of course, 6 of them did retire on the first lap. and a few others have essentially just rage quitted because they feel there's no need to trundle around at the back. Personally, I'd always keep going. You never know what might happen. You know, at the moment, if this was a league race, everyone that finishes scores a World Championship point. You know, there could be another situation in any of the tiers on both PS4 and Xbox One where there could be a crash on the first lap and you end up being in the pits nearly a lap down after having a puncture and a front wing change and whatever, thinking, I'm in 14th place, there's no point carrying on. Always carry on. You never know what might happen. Of course, a few drivers have dropped out tonight because it is just a social race, there's nothing to gain or lose. So maybe they might carry on if it was a legitimate league race. But like I said, always carry on. You never know what might happen. Might have a mid-race safety car that falls completely into your hands because you can pit for a set of tyres that you know will get to the end and everyone else stays out on tyres that they know can't, and you could pick up positions. Different scenarios. The safety car seems to be working on this game after nearly a whole year of it out. Which is nice to see. Codemasters can do something right, but there are still other problems that we are experiencing. But yeah, with the safety car now running, and I assume ILR will be running with the safety car during the league races, yeah, strategy options are always going to be changing. You don't know when the safety car can come out. It can come out in lap 1, it can come out, you know, like Abu Dhabi, it can come out in lap 24. You have no idea. Bunches to field up. It resets the race. People then have to think, okay, this race is now aggregate. We've done the first half. Now we've got to do the next half of the race. Do I change tyres? Do I save a lot of fuel now? Do I be cautious? Do I be aggressive? You know, is it worth chucking one up the inside and trying to overtake 3 cars at turn 4 at Brazil, for example? Should I hold back because they've got to pit? Have I got to be aggressive because I have to pit but they don't? So many different variables out there which makes league racing that exciting. People constantly thinking what they have to do. You can't just turn up, drive the car and whatever happens happens. You should always push as hard as you humanly can to give yourself the best possible chance of a strong result, especially if some of these guys want to be challenging for the drivers or the constructors title, or let's say in mid-race in the season some of these guys are struggling and they're down towards the bottom, the relegation zone, if you like. There isn't really promotion and relegation. ILR look at all the drivers as an individual and sees, you know, how often you've been turning up for races, how consistent you've been, how quick you've been. You can turn up for every race of the season, never retire, finish 5th in the championship and think, you know, that's quite good. They may still bump you down a tier or two because you've only really finished in that position because a lot of people have retired and you've gained points, where in general you're quite a slow driver. So these drivers do have a lot to aim for as the season goes on. Tough to Handle then has made his, I believe, first pit stop, coming out in 9th. It will be 10th. Paul McGuinness will successfully do the undercut and will pick up that 9th place, only just though, over Tough to Handle, who's now out in a very fresh set of super soft tyres, so he'll be thinking about an opportunity along one of the 2 DRS straights. He's got plenty of battery usage to use up as well. However, Paul McGuinness running 100% has more. There we go, you can see there, up into ERS mode 4. Paul McGuinness stays in number 2. So then, Martini Williams, Paul McGuinness does decide to jink about a little bit. Gaining all the time. Late on the brakes, a lot later than the Haas driver, who's got his line a little wrong through the chicane because he was defending. Now this would be the best opportunity then for Tough to Handle to try and move on Paul McGuinness for 9th. And Paul McGuinness, I think, is going to defend. Tough to Handle's got to do this the hard way, round the outside. Great camera shot here, down into the braking zone. Both drivers very late. Respectful driving, no. And Paul McGuinness squeezes the Williams driver out. Nice little battle here for 9th. No real other battles on track. Lightning Gasly is a second away from Scuba. ILR Shadow is 1.5 seconds away from TMB Wazzy. So unfortunately this is the closest battle we've got at the moment for 9th place. So Paul McGuinness makes a little bit of a mistake there in the right hander. We'll just wait now for the 2 cars to thunder past. Not much between them. 2 temps. TR Button and TMB Wazzy in the pits. I believe it's TR Button's second pit stop now. So there's a possibility that both these drivers might jump them. In fact, they will. So these 2 continue to rise up the order. I think Tough to Handle trying to move around the outside here into turn 1. That's brave. It's not the first time we've seen that tonight. I believe TR Button is... Oh, and both of them, what's happened there? Both of them just lost it completely. Wow, what's happened there? Paul McGuinness absolutely just lost the back end. I think your ballast might be a bit too high. Was anyone else involved? I don't think so. TR Button's a long way away. That was a strange incident because it looked like on my screen here that both of them lost the back end, but Tough to Handle is fine, he's carried on. Unfortunately for Paul McGuinness there, who's lost the back end coming through 2 and 3, spun the car around. So that was an interesting incident there, but there we go. Paul McGuinness does carry on in 9th. Excuse me. TMB Wazzy back out in 10th on a fresh set of super soft tyres. We're coming to the leaders now. Vic Rouge. Oh, that's a late call into the pit lane. The white line is there. You should be respectful of it. I believe LMC Josh might be in. No, LMC Josh is carrying on. He is on the super soft tyres. LMC Boogster, he's going to carry on. TR Button picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. We come to ILR Shadow now in the McLaren. Started on the front row. Starting on pole position, actually. A couple of people here, I did say, give us your comments about the incident between LMC Hamilton and ILR Shadow. And Spag and Chips, there we are, Spaghetti and Chips, he's come on to say it was just a racing incident. A few other people, Flexi, EFC Matthew, Shimasi as well, all pointing. Well, Flexi said Jake and Tom thought it was a season finale or something. Yeah, exactly. You know, it's a bit all that balls out really for the first couple of corners in what is a pre-season race. EFC Matthews come on and say Jake's fault, pushed Tom out wide in turn 1 and then into turn 2 to cut across him. And Shimasi's come on and say, God damn it, Jake. God damn it, Jake. There we go, some comments there. I do appreciate comments and questions and anything like that on the stream. Get you guys involved as much as humanly possible. So LMC Josh leads LMC Boogster, the 2 LMC guys pairing up tonight in the Red Bull. Different strategies. Our leader Josh is on the super soft tyres, Boogster is on the ultra softs. Vic Rouge then, he's on a brand new set of super softs, having completed his first pit stop. We'll have a quick look to see how many pit stops have been done yet. Just the 2 leaders then have yet to make a pit stop. TR Button off strategy a little bit. He's completed 2. So then, do the Red Bull guys do a pit at the end of this lap. I'll be expecting Josh will carry on. Boogster may very well be in to try and protect his racing position. Another late call into the pits. So Vic Rouge will take back that 2nd place and will take back the lead when Josh does pit. And with them super soft tyres on at this stage of the race, he should be pretty safe to the end. ILR Shadow, I believe, will take that 4th place as well. Oh no, he's going in to get off them ultra soft tyres. TR Button will definitely carry on. And then we've got Lightning Gasly and Scuba MUFC in close formation. Oh my god, TR Button there. Very wild line back onto the circuit coming out the final corner. And McLaren of ILR Shadow there trundling down the pit lane. Where does Boogster rejoin in all this? He's going to be right in the middle of this. I think he's going to come out between the Mercedes and the Force India. He does, but the Force India Lightning Gasly is going to think straight away, oh damn you. Oh, he's gone up the inside. That was a brave call and a late call at that as well. Boogster had to be aware of that. Maledictus has now left the session. He's had enough of spectating for half of the race. So then can Gasly put a move on the Red Bull coming down into the chicane. Boogster already over to the left hand side. He's made his intentions clear early on. So Gasly's got to do this the hard way around the outside into the braking zone for the chicane, and a nice move indeed up into 4th place. The Boogster might come back at him here though, because he's got DRS now. So then roll reversal here. Gasly's going to have to defend the inside line, hugging that white line for all it's worth. Moves over a little bit onto Boogster. We'll try it around the outside, but he's going to get squeezed out a little bit. Oh, possible contact there. There is contact there. Both of them have been pushed off. Scuba MUFC says thank you very much. He moves up into 4th place. Both drivers do recover. I don't think they have any damage on the car. I think they just about kept it out the wall. But another little incident here tonight. These drivers, as I said, dusting off the cobwebs. It's possibly the first semi-competitive race they've really done since the game has been out. Oh, back end stepping out there on Boogster as he runs over them very high and aggressive curbs. So it's fine if we see incidents like that tonight here. We don't want to see it too much in the race. Once the league does start up, of course. LMC Josh then. We've got yellow flags in Sector 3. Paul McGuinness is off for a wander in the grass. And he should recover fairly innocuously to the circuit. That's his 2nd off in about 2 or 3 laps. And my betting is them super soft tyres are probably a bit dead now. Yeah, no life in the tyre, into the wall. He's damaged the front wing. This is the problem when you spin the car around. You've got to be aware of the tyre temperatures on those rear tyres. You can't just run it and gun it. And he's still trying his best, but you can see the car is wildly fishtailing now. You've got to allow the rear tyres to cool down. Otherwise, nothing is nothing is going to go your way here, and I think that Paul McGuinness might be back in the pits. He is indeed, for another front wing. So it's a bit of a horror show tonight from the Haas driver. TMB Wazzy down in 9th. ILR Shadow has completed 2 stops and is down in 8th. LMC Bookster in 6th, Lightning Gasly in 5th, Scuba MUC in 4th, TR Button then in 3rd place, having completed 2 pit stops so far. Vic Rouge in 2nd, but he is a de facto leader. Once this man here, LMC Josh, decides to pit, you can see the tyre wear on the inside of the tyres. It's a different shade there compared to the outside, so obviously his super soft tyres, which he has carried for 15, now will be 16 laps. Obviously past their best at the moment, so he might be trying to push these as far as possible. Maybe go for a daring hyper soft tyre at the end of the race to try and be super quick. But yeah, Vic Rouge is obviously catching him at a quick rate of knots. TR Button 15 seconds back. Scuba receives on his own, but Gasly is trying to close up, and we've got Bookster and Tough to handle very close. TR Button picks up another 3-second time penalty, so this could be one driver to keep an eye on during the season, to see if he picks up penalties on a regular basis. There are some drivers out there that just can't, for whatever reason, keep it on the track. And there was a fastest lap there by someone, can't remember who it was. It was ILR Shadow with 37.956. The only driver to get into the 37s. Of course, lap times will continue to tumble as the race goes on, as the fuel levels deplete. A little bit of a lock up there from Tough to handle in 7th place as he continues to give chase to Bookster, but he's over a second away, so he won't be picking up DRS this time by. Meanwhile, Vic Rouge now right up with LMC Josh, and if LMC Josh has got any sense and sensibility, he won't put up too much of a fight. He's not really battling the Toro Rosso driver, because of course Vic Rouge can take these tyres to the end. LMC Josh still has to pit, so he's basically about 20 seconds behind him really, although he is ahead of him at the moment on the circuit. And I think LMC Josh might pit at the end of this lap just to get out of the way of Vic Rouge and not lose too much time. And Vic Rouge, you can see there, I think he's just going to wait. He knows he's got a 15-second lead, and indeed LMC Josh does peel off into the pit lane. Sensible driving there by both drivers. Vic Rouge didn't try any do-or-die attempts to get past into the lead, and LMC Josh didn't decide to hang around there for another lap or two and try in vain to defend that position, because he knew his tyres were pretty much shot at that point. Better to get in maybe a lap or two early than necessary. Oh, he's taking a penalty here. So LMC Josh had a 5-second stop-and-go penalty for something. Back out the pits now then. TR Button up into 2nd place. Scuba will take possibly 3rd. The pit lane exit here is a bit weird. It goes underground, but you can see there he now cuts underneath. So he's got the inside. I think Scuba is through. He will be through into 3rd. And I believe Gasly will be through into 4th. It'll be close between Josh and Bookster though. 5th and 6th. The Red Bull drivers. Who's going to get out ahead? It is Josh. It is Josh ahead of Bookster. And now Josh is going to have a bit of an entertaining last part of the race here, because he's got Gasly and Scuba ahead of him. And I believe they are all on similar tyres. They are. They're all on... No, they're not actually. Josh has gone for the ultra soft tyres. So he's managed to carry them super soft tyres long enough here to go onto the ultra softs. Trying to move around the outside of Gasly into the braking zone at the end of the first DRS zone. Gasly will put up a bit of a fight, but I think he knows that he's not really going to put up too much of a defensive job against the ultra soft wearing Josh. However, he's coming back at him with the DRS on that Force India. Round the outside, down into the braking zone for the left-hander here. Whoa, Josh, you don't want to make contact here and damage your wing, because you've got a realistic chance at picking up a 3rd place here tonight in the social race. So Josh should eventually get past Gasly and then hopefully give chase to Scuba up into 3rd place, who's done 15 laps on these super soft tyres. He obviously made a pit stop early on in this race, same for Gasly as well, so both of them may have to still make another pit stop. But I think Josh will want to flex his muscles and do the overtaking on track rather than rely on these drivers making pit stops into the final corner. Then I did say this is an opportunity to make an overtake, especially when you're on different tyres. And certainly better tyres as well. ILR Shadow, another 3-second time penalty round the outside into turn 1 for Josh. Is he going to be able to hold it? I think he might now. It's Brave into 2 and 3, side by side through here. Oh, brilliant move round the outside of 2. I think Gasly may have left off the throttle just a little bit to allow Josh through. But still fantastic driving from the Red Bull driver to nail the line through the corner and make up that position into 4th. Now he's up behind Scuba immediately, and he will already have DRS And Scuba, you can see, he's really struggling on them super soft tyres. 16 laps he's now been on them, which was the same amount of time that Josh was on his for. And will Scuba defend? I don't think there's any real point. Josh with the DRS makes an easy move back up into the podium spots into 3rd place. Now he's 10 seconds away from TR Button. Can he give chase? 10 seconds in 10 laps. Yeah, it's going to be a tough ask because those ultra soft tyres will start to wear out before the end of the race. Meanwhile, Scuba's now probably got to defend from Gasly behind. No move this time round. Boogster is still there as well, as is ILR Shadow, defending that 7th place from tough to handle. So, yeah, I mean, you can probably take LMC Josh out of the equation because he's going to pull away now. But 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th, separated by, I don't know, about 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds. So, yeah, we do have some close racing here for the final laps, which will give us a little bit of entertainment. Paul McGuinness, obviously, is now back out on the ultra soft tyres, a long way down the order. TMB Wazzy as well, he's had a fairly innocuous race down in 9th. Of course, he's had incidents as well. And we've got a driver in the pits. I think it might have been Scuba, possibly. Yep, Scuba's coming in the pits, and he knew he wasn't going to get to the end on them super soft tyres. So he's probably going to go for the set of ultras, possibly hypers, if he wants to see how far he can take them. We'll stay with the Williams driver. It looks like he's going for the purple wall ultra soft tyres. Indeed it is. So he's going to be rejoining in 8th, possibly 9th. Yeah, Wazzy will get the jump on him. So that leaves Lightning Gasly as our longest running driver without a pit stop. 13 laps on them super soft tyres. He will find they're going tough from here though. He's got people behind him. Boogster, Shadow, tough to handle. All on much relatively quicker tyres. We'll see if Boogster can put a move on with the DRS. I think he might just be a little bit too far back. Indeed he is this time. Meanwhile, LMC Josh, within a lap, has taken a second out of TR Button. And TR Button, meanwhile, does have several 3-second penalties. So this race for second isn't over yet. As ILR Shadow and Boogster go into battle. ILR Shadow there closes the DRS at the end of the straight and makes a nice move for 5th place, which I didn't actually expect. Otherwise, I would have been watching the McLaren driver. So ILR Shadow here, he's getting a bit of a hurry on. He's now behind Gasly. So I think Gasly will either be pitting very soon to change strategy, or he'll just tough it out on these super soft tyres and see how far he can take them. We've got yellow flags in sector 1. Who's that for? Paul McGuinness. Paul McGuinness off the circuit again. This is Formula 1, my friend, not Rallycross. You've got to stay on the black stuff. So we'll come back to Gasly then. He's got ILR Shadow and Boogster behind him. And again, look, another 3-second time penalty for TR Button. I reckon he's got more time penalties than he's done completed laps round here at the moment. So I think as it stands, he's at least got 4. Definitely 3, probably 4. And at the moment, LMC Josh, as long as he stays within 9 seconds, he will claim that second place. Which would be a nice morale boost going into season start in a couple of weeks' time. And we'll jump on board with Boogster. This will give us a nice view of the battle for 4th between Gasly and ILR Shadow. Terrible noise there of the cars over revving. That really is a problem that we do need to sort out. Meanwhile, ILR Shadow with the DRS. Gasly makes him do it the hard way. Into the braking zone now for the chicane. Still there on the outside. Gasly's going to have to give this up. He might come back at him with the DRS. But I think ILR Shadow's tyres are a lot better. And I think he is possibly a quicker driver to boot. But ILR Shadow might have to defend the inside here. He's staying in the middle of a track. Gasly's coming back at him. Good racing then. Oh, LMC Josh in his vain attempt to catch TR Button picks up a 3-second time penalty. So a good little battle here for 4th, 5th and 6th. These two have swapped positions a couple of times. Gasly's tyres must be coming to the end of their life now. 14 laps. Can he do it? Can he get to the end on these? Yeah, it's going to be a tough ask. It really will be. You can see he's a lot slower than everyone else around him. Even tough to handle is slowly starting to creep up. Yellow flags again in sector 1. I'm going to bet that's Paul McGuinness. Hooray! And he's retired from the session. Oh, and the Red Bulls had to take massively avoiding action there. LMC Josh won't thank him for that. So Paul McGuinness's pre-season race has seen him off the track more times than on it. But at least he's had some exposure tonight. Every time there was a yellow flag, it was usually him. We have a VSC because of it. So I'll take a quick break here. No overtaking, of course. And hopefully these drivers do behave themselves. So the VSC has ended. We're coming around now to complete lap 22 of 28. Lightning Gasly still pounding round on these super soft tyres. And ILR Shadow might think about a move again. The best time to do it is obviously, I'd say possibly, and it's open for debate this, but don't overtake going into the chicane at the end of the first DRS zone. Do it in DRS zone number 2. Because every time he's getting past, Gasly's coming back at him. And these two are obviously enjoying this battle. But of course, if Shadow decides to hold back, that opens the door for LMC Bookster, who's going to have DRS over both of these guys as well. So we'll see again if ILR Shadow decides about making a move again into the chicane. This time Lightning Gasly again defends the inside, so Shadow again has to go around the outside. Again outbrakes him. Oh, and moves across a little bit there. Gasly won't thank him for that. A little bit of oversteer there from the McLaren. And now will Gasly come back at him, or at this point have these tyres now just died just enough to stop him from trying to come back at him. He's going to try it around the outside though into the braking zone. Oh, and ILR Shadow a bit late on the brakes there. Forces the Force India wide. And Bookster takes advantage of that and moves up to 5th place. And at this point, Gasly might now think, right, I've lost that 4th place. I might as well just pit. Meanwhile, the battle between 2nd and 3rd carries on. Josh has now brought that gap down to 5.3 seconds. So he may very well be right up with TR Button at the end of this race. But we know that TR Button has a lot of ETL penalties to be added to his race time at the end of this race. And no, Gasly's going to carry on. Might be just a tyre test, see how far he can take them. Meanwhile, Wazzy, 11.5 seconds away from that battle between Gasly and Tough to Handle. He's now got the attentions of Scuba behind him. So we've got a Force India defending a Williams in 6th and 7th, and a Force India defending a Williams in 8th and 9th. Oh, Wazzy gets a little bit out of shape coming at the final corner. Scuba pulls alongside. Outside move going into 1. It'll be the late of the late breakers. Wazzy forces him wide across the curb. Scuba will have to slot back in going through 2 and 3. He'll pick up a bit of understeer through here, but I think with Scuba on very fresh, or fresher tyres compared to Wazzy, and a quicker compound, the Ultras compared to the Supers. Oh, and Scuba doesn't wait for the DRS zone. He thinks I might as well go for it now, but I think he might have made contact because he came out of that hairpin a bit slowly there, gave the position back to Wazzy, so that was polite from Scuba. He has DRS coming down into the chicane. He won't be able to make a move this time by. Well, I think up there Gasly's managed to get past Bookster. So Gasly's still fighting on the very used super soft tyres. They're fighting here at the left, right, left. Still side by side. And Tough to Handle is there as well. We're still side by side. And Gasly's staying ahead of him. We'll come back to Wazzy. What's going on with these two for 8th and 9th? Scuba up the inside. But Wazzy's going to try and hold it again. Oh, a little bit of a possible bit of contact there. But again, close racing between these two. And Bookster and Tough to Handle are now having a bit of a scrap over 6 and 7. That's allowed Gasly to disappear a second up the road, but I'm pretty sure these two will be able to reel him in rather quickly. Gasly carrying on then. So I think at this stage Gasly is just going to go for it. See how far he can go. Another 3-second time penalty to TR Button. He must have 18 now. He must be close to being disqualified at this rate, surely. And the gap between him and Josh is now down to 3.5 seconds. So we've got a few battles on circuit. 2nd and 3rd, that will be a battle probably on the final lap. Gasly, Bookster and Tough to Handle in 5th, 6th and 7th. And in this one here, 8th and 9th. Scuba again tries around the outside going into 1. Oh, and Wazzy takes too much of the inside curb and picks up a 3-second time penalty. He won't thank himself for that. Oh, and he's lost the back end there coming through 2. And he's had a back out of it, and the Scuba takes the 8th and will now disappear into the distance. We'll come back to this battle for 5th, 6th and 7th. We seem to be getting more and more action as the race goes on. Gasly then doesn't need to defend the inside. Bookster wasn't close enough. And the gap between Gasly and Shadow's now already up to nearly 5 seconds. So that tells you how much time ILR Shadow was losing behind the Force India driver. And Paul McGuinness coming in saying, I swear I was driving on ice rather than a race circuit. Yeah, possibly your tyre temperatures were too high. That is some complaints I've been hearing from other league drivers in other leagues, saying that their leagues have already kicked off, have done now for a couple of weeks, and a majority of the drivers have been struggling no matter what setup they're using. When you're running sort of the middle and the fastest compound, the tyre pressures, it doesn't matter what you do, the tyre temperatures are constantly high. It doesn't matter what you do, you're constantly high, you're burning through the tyres, you have no grip. Maybe Paul McGuinness, unfortunately here, has struggled with that particular issue. Whether it's something that's actually legit on the game and the drivers need to work at it. I mean, one thing you could possibly do is lower the tyre pressures, a lot lower than what you'd normally run, to try and keep the heat down. Because obviously the higher tyre pressures you run, more heat is generated. That might be something to do with it. Not too sure. We'll just have to wait to see how the next few weeks on this game will develop. But Paul McGuinness obviously saying that one of his issues is too high tyre temps, which meant that the back end was stepping out too often, and he spent more often than not on the grass, not on the circuit. We'll come back to Bookster then, lap 25 of 28, tucked right underneath this Force India's rear wing. Gasly sticks to the inside, that we've seen him do all throughout the last 5 or 6 laps. Bookster's going to have to be late on the brakes, but Gasly's coming back at him. A little bit of a lock up there from the Red Bull in the front left. Oh, that's a different line for that chicane, and he's lost the back end. Oh, and in the background as well, that's Tough to Handle. He's lost the back end. He's put it in the wall. He's managed to keep all 4 wheels on the car, but he's got a badly damaged front wing. That now takes him at that battle for 5th and 6th. So Bookster's got to focus on everything ahead rather than anything behind. Meanwhile, Scuba down in 9th has made another pit stop. Come out onto the Hypersoft tyres. Tough to Handle has a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. So we've got one battle there for 5th and 6th, and this is the other battle then. At 26 of 28, LMC Josh has now caught TR Button, and LMC Josh must know that TR Button has penalties. Possibly the race engineer has told him the guy ahead has penalties, but LMC Josh has penalties as well. So I think Josh is going to do the move rather than wait to see the end of the race, to see him jump ahead of him. I think he'd rather get the move done on circuit. 3 laps to go, including the one our front running guys are on at the moment. It's Tough to Handle, makes a pit stop to fix that front wing. Lightning Gasly still carrying on in 20 laps on these super soft tyres. That is a Herculean effort. And if he gets to the end of that picking up a puncture, that will be vital information for himself and possibly other people racing and watching tonight. Oh, you can take a set of super soft tyres 3/4 of the race here. Up the inside goes Josh into the chicane at the end of DRS1. Oh, he wasn't close enough, had to back out of it. He'll get a better opportunity through here as well. Oh, was there contact, or has TR Button just lost it by himself? Carbon copy instant of what we saw last lap from Tough to Handle. Oh, he rejoins right in front of ILR Shadow, who now takes up 3rd place. So again, was there a bit of contact there between himself and Josh? Josh was really close. You could probably separate Josh's front wing to TR Button's rear wing by nothing more than a cigarette paper. So maybe a bit of a love tap coming up the chicane forced TR Button off, or possibly, again, we're seeing another issue with high tyre pressures, or he's just spun up the rear wheels just a bit too soon coming out of a low traction zone. And unfortunately his podium aspirations are now over. He's got a badly damaged front wing and a multiple time penalties. He's still struggling here with those tyres. 14 laps, and he looks like he's done 40. So Gasly's still going in. He's now got a shot at taking 4th place here. Does TR Button pit? Just a couple of laps to go. Vic Rouge is in. Vic Rouge has made a pit stop. I think he was that bored. I think Vic Rouge was that bored in the lead of his social race tonight that he's decided to make a pit stop with 2 laps to go to put on a set of hypersoft tyres. And I know what you want to do. You want to go for the fastest lap. Let's have a look. Has he got full battery? Nearly, and he's saving it. Yeah, okay, Vic Rouge is going for fastest lap. Yeah, we're not silly. We know what your game is. So Vic Rouge in comes out 3 seconds ahead of LMC Josh on a brand new set of hypersoft tyres. LMC Josh is now locked down second place. ILR Shadow pretty much locked down third. TR Button though still struggling round with a badly damaged front wing and absolutely wrecked super soft tyres, and Lightning Gasly is catching at a fast rate of knots. Scuba MUFC sets the fastest lap, a 35.746 on his fresh set of hypersoft tyres. Tough to handle might be going for it as well. So we've got 3 drivers out there on very fresh hypersofts, so I'll be expecting a new fastest lap possibly at the end of this race. So here we go then, the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th, the only battle worth talking about on circuit. Lightning Gasly, fantastic effort, 21 laps on those super soft tyres. They must be absolutely buggered at this point, but he's in the DRS now of TR Button, and Bookster as well, jinking and weaving in the background, trying to make his Red Bull loom large in that Pink Force India's rear mirrors. But Gasly is focusing all his intentions on getting past TR Button, so much so that he's picked up a 3-second time penalty for taking too much of the curbs to try and shave off a couple of tenths from his lap time here and close up to that Mercedes, who of course has got a damaged front wing. I don't know if these two guys know about it, but I can tell you Button certainly does. And Gasly here then, it's amazing, this is 21 laps and he's the most aggressive and the quickest of these 3 drivers. They all flash past the cameras at the moment. TR Button again off the racing line, struggling as much as he can with a badly understeering Mercedes. It must be like a Yorkshire Terrier trying to run on a bit of kitchen flooring, just going sideways everywhere. Are they 3 wide? They're 3 wide coming into the final lap. Oh, brilliant. Oh, and the Force India's being pinched and there's contact everywhere. How have they got away with that? And somehow TR Button still holds on to 4th place. A bit of carbon fibre flies off the right hand side of the screen. Oh, and Gasly's going to benefit from this. TR Button understeers badly wide through turn 3. Oh, and Boogster's put it in the wall. Oh, I'd love to be on board. We'll jump on board with Wazzy. Can we see Boogster anywhere? Can we? No, I can't. Oh, Boogster's put it in the wall, and Gasly has managed to get past TR Button. Oh, great action here then towards the end of the race. Somehow the guy that's done 22 laps in a set of super soft tyres has managed to get ahead of all of them. But here comes TR Button up the inside then. Oh, and there's a Red Bull going slowly. That's Josh. Josh is going slowly. It is a social race. I'm going to put it down to a social. Maybe Josh just thought, you know what, let's have a battle with these two. I think that's what it is. But Vic Rouge will win this race. We'll come back to him then because he's going to be crossing the line slowly. So I've got to move away from that brilliant battle for 4th, 5th and 3rd, 4th and 5th. But Vic Rouge then, flying around the final corner. Will it be fastest lap? It's not, but he takes the pre-season victory here at Abu Dhabi. ILR Shadow then coming round the final corner. Started on pole, fell all the way towards the back after contact with LMC Hamilton, but has risen well to take 2nd place. TR Button, where's he going? Button, Gasly and Josh, we'll just wait here for them to come into view, shall we? Yeah, they're still fighting. Button will take 3rd on track, but he will fall behind both of them. But Gasly's trying to move up the inside. He's going to try it in the final corner. He is. 23 laps in a set of super soft tyres, and Button Button flashes across the screen. Gasly takes 3rd, LMC Josh 4th, Wazzy up into 5th place, TR Button down into 6th, make that 7th. Scuba has taken 6th, and tough to handle. The final classified driver, he does take 7th. So TR Button had so many penalties it dropped him all the way back to 8th place. Yeah, we won't be seeing much of that in the league races as it's a social race. It's all about just getting out there and getting a feel for the car and making sure you feel comfortable. But congratulations to our top 3, Toro Rosso, McLaren and Force India. We'll leave the podium interviews just for now so we can wrap this up as quickly as possible. Paul McGuinness has just come on. Can I be driver of the day? Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, Paul McGuinness, driver of the day, why not? 17 spins, sure. So Vic Rouge wins the race, 14th on the grid, 2-stop strategy. He wins by 15.5 seconds from ILR Shadow in 2nd place. Lightning Gasly then, a Herculean fantastic effort there. 23 laps out of 28 on a set of super soft tyres from 16th on the grid. He claims 3rd. LMC Josh, TMB Wazzy, the 2 South Africans, claim 4th and 5th. Scuba MUFC, tough to handle, 6th and 7th for Williams. 27 seconds worth of penalties for TR Button. He was close to being disqualified, I kid you not. But he is classified in 8th place. And then, drum roll, big breath please. The unclassified finishers are Boogstar, Paul McGuinness, Ash Best, Forestix, CC Brain, TUF Eric, Wiseleg, Calic Risk, Matt, Maledictus, LMC Hamilton, LMC George. Most of these drivers retired on the first lap. So there we go then. Everything is now done for our pre-season race here with the tiers 1, 2 and 3 on the PS4 side of ILR. During the season, I will be conducting podium interviews with the 3 drivers that do finish not on track, but obviously due to final classification. So do stick around after every race that I do this season to hear the drivers' thoughts. There won't be one tonight. It is just a social race. This was just a good reason for me to get on and have my first commentary, if you like, for ILR. The stream's been quite popular. There's been a lot of comments going on, quite a good amount of views as well. And yeah, so I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys have as well. Like I said, it's the first time that you've ever heard me or listened to me. Hopefully, you know the way I come across is fine. You can hear me clearly, and what I talk about is fun and entertaining. And of course, you guys as well that obviously do the races as well. You make it fun and entertaining for me, so it always gives me something to talk about. But of course, thank you very much to Inside Line Racing for giving me the opportunity to become a solo commentator on ILR 3 this season. I'm going to thoroughly enjoy myself. I know it's going to be a close competitive field, as it always is in ILR 3. So my name is Alex Lilliard. Thank you very much for joining us tonight for this pre-season race around Abu Dhabi, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks time for round 1 at Australia when we kick off a brand new season of ILR 3.